Many Catholics are familiar with the true story of Our Lady, Saint Juan Diego, and the miraculous portrait of the Virgin left on the saint's tilma, also known as a cloak. My research on that miraculous image, which is commonly known as Our Lady of Guadalupe, examines the secret messages found in the inexplicably preserved portrait itself. Read with the naked eye, the image spoke not only to the people of the time, but there is also the very real possibility of another message for the people of the future. A prophecy from God, a prophecy of the apocalypse, a missive of divine revelation given in symbols that has been for centuries right before our eyes. Dear listeners, hello and welcome. I'm Marianna Bartold, the guest host of Signs and Secrets featured by the Fatima Center. I'm also the author of Fatima, the Signs and Secrets, Guadalupe, Secrets of the Image, and I am the host of my own growing channel called Genesis 315. Thanks to the generosity of the Fatima Center, you will find in the description box various links to my works and to my channel. To continue. As the Aztec people recognized, and as I explain in my book, Guadalupe, Secrets of the Image, the woman on the tilma is replete with codes that they understood. Through the image itself, the Virgin spoke to them via cryptography, which is a hidden or secret writing that uses techniques for a secure communication in the presence of a third party. Other research have also noted that the Guadalupe image, or just Guadalupe, which is the shorthand term used to describe or refer to this miraculous painting from heaven, contains codices, the plural word for codex. A codex is a book or manuscript with ancient symbols and words. Thus, the symbolic aspects of the native culture and language of the Mesoamericana people seen in the Virgin's image and heard in the words of Saint Juan Diego played a great role in the mass conversions of the indigenous people. In this same miraculous image, Our Lady also spoke to the Spanish Catholics, who immediately recognized her as the Immaculate Conception. As the Holy Scriptures attest, and as it's something which I have for more than once in these broadcasts repeated, the Lord uses the lights of heaven, that is, the sun, the moon, and the stars, for signs, as is revealed in Genesis 1, verses 14 through 16. Incidentally, I refer specifically to the Douay-Rheims translation. Quote, "And God said, Let there be lights made in the firmament of heaven to divide the day and the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years, to shine in the firmament of heaven, and to give light upon the earth. And it was so done. And God made two great lights, a greater light to rule the day, and a lesser light to rule the night, and the stars." Unquote. According to one of the sources quoted and footnoted in my Guadalupe book, the ancient Hebrews understood that in those words from Genesis, God revealed that he designed the lights of heaven to serve many purposes. For example, in Hebrew, the word season is moed, and it signifies an appointed time or a fixed time. And the Hebrews used a different word to indicate the seasons of spring, summer, fall, or winter. Signs and seasons used by God with respect to the mission of the stars were to indicate happenings and the periods of time pertaining to them, specifically for prophetic reasons, especially that of signifying historical incidents at chosen times as the plan of salvation unfolded. Moreover, and as I have also emphasized in past broadcasts, as well as in my Fatima and Guadalupe books, in the Septuagint, the word sign is used for celestial phenomenon. In brief, then, God uses the sun, the moon, and the stars as silent signs of prophecy. We shall see all of those signs on the image of Guadalupe. Like the prophesied Star of Jacob, which foretold Christ's birth, the stars on Guadalupe's mantle anticipate a particular era and events already foretold in divine revelation. Due to various examinations of those stars, not only by myself but to other researchers as well, it is reasonable to conclude that the Virgin of Guadalupe is directing mankind's attention to the eschatological texts, that is, those texts referring to the last days found in the Gospels and in the Apocalypse. Here, I think it's a perfect time to note that Sister Lucia of Fatima told us that the third secret will be found in the Gospel and the Apocalypse. Read them. Now, due to our broadcasting time constraints, I can highlight only some of my research on the stars as seen in this miraculous portrait, which helped me to further decode the possible message on the mantle. That information is truly too detailed for a brief video like this one, but it is included in my book, Guadalupe, Secrets of the Image. But first, it must be said that for centuries, no scholar or expert on the image of Guadalupe investigated the meaning of the stars on Our Lady's turquoise mantle. Then, after the 1981 publication of Philip Callahan's infrared study of St. Juan's tilma, Father Mario Rojas Sanchez of Hidalgo, Mexico, wondered if the mantle's stars could be constellations that had appeared in the December 1531 winter sky, because that is when Our Lady appeared to St. Juan Diego and to his uncle one time, who was named Bernardino. So he shared his intuition with a friend, Dr. Juan Homero Hernandez Illescas, a medical doctor and a serious so-called amateur astronomer who had a lot of resources available to him. And so together, these two men discovered that the constellations on the Virgin's mantle are a compacted reverse or mirror image of the stars' positions over Mexico City just before sunrise on December the 12th, 1531 AD. The time and the date are the very hour of Our Lady's last appearance to St. Juan Diego on Tepeyac Hill. It was also the same hour in which the Virgin appeared to his dying uncle, again Juan Bernardino, who was instantly cured of the plague and instructed him to tell the bishop the name by which she wished to be called. "Call me and my image, the perfect Virgin Mary, Holy Mother of God, the one who crushes the serpent." By the way, that translation of the Virgin's words is another important topic covered in my Guadalupe book. Now, Guadalupe's mantle displays 46 eight-pointed stars. Coincidentally, 18 of them correspond to 24 of the brightest stars viewed from Earth, which naturally attract our attention. To understand the star's placement on the Virgin's mantle, we have to start off by imagining that we are standing right before the image. The Virgin's face is turned to the viewer's left, and the left tip of the crescent moon is slightly higher than the right side. Of the 46 stars on the image, we will note that 24 are on the right side and 22 are on the left. The star's placement on the east-west axis, like the Earth's equator, means that to see them as they appeared in the southern hemisphere, one must turn the image sideways, with the top of Our Lady's head facing the east. The main winter constellations are exhibited on the mantle's right or south side. When the stars on Guadalupe's mantle were matched to those in the heavens, a breathtaking discovery was made. Other stars and constellations also intersect with the image. High over the Virgin's womb appears the constellation Leo, representing the Lion of Judah, the scriptural figure type for Christ. Intriguingly, the year of the sun, which is the day star of the scriptures and symbolically represents Christ, begins in the constellation of Virgo, the Virgin, and it ends in Leo, the Lion, thus representing the cause and the end of our redemption. Also worthy of note is the intersecting star Regulus, which is Greek for little king, and which is also the brightest star in the Leo constellation. Among the stellar intersections with the mantle, we have the Great Northern Crown, otherwise known as the Corona Borealis, which lies invisibly at the image's temples. We have Virgo the Virgin over her Immaculate Heart. We have the twins, Castor and Pollux, from Gemini, and they are on her knees. And Orion is on the angel that carries her. Now, with the exception of the last two mentioned stars or constellations, those interpolating constellations are self-explanatory. So in my opinion, however, Gemini intersecting at the Virgin's lap first signifies her divine son's hypostatic union as both God and man. But it also bears a simultaneous testimony, shall we call it, that in the order of grace, Our Lady is also the mother of mankind. As for Orion, the hunter constellation, its ancient Hebrew name means coming forth as light and possibly signifies the second coming of Christ. Of all the constellations represented or partly intersecting with Guadalupe, the Holy Scriptures unquestionably mention three. Named thrice in the Old Testament is Arcturus, which is the alpha star of the constellation Bootes, and it appears on the Virgin's mantle. Named twice is Orion, and named once is the Winding Serpent, which is the constellation Hydra, represented by one star on the Lady's mantle. Now, as I earlier mentioned, of the 46 stars on the image, 24 are on the right and 22 are on the left, all of them representing 21 total constellations. 7 on the right, 7 on the left, and 7 that intersect on the red robe of Our Lady. Here we see the great symbolic significance, because in divine revelation, 7 is the number of God's spiritual perfection, and 3, as we see those 3 sevens, is the number of the Holy Trinity. In addition, 18 of those 46 stars that I already mentioned are the brightest from Earth's view. The Catholic Encyclopedia clarifies that it should be understood that the numerical value of the Greek letters iota and eta are the first letters of the holy name for Jesus. They give us the numbers 10 and 8, the sum of which is 18. It seems then that the 18 brightest stars seem, on every clear night, to declare the name of Jesus. Now, since the number 46 is the product of 2 times 23, one interpretation says that the number 2, which is represented by the 2 visible sides of the mantle, is symbolic of the Church's witness of the gospel, while 23 is symbolic of God's judgment on mankind. In Scripture, the stars in collapse, as we see them on the Virgin's mantle, often symbolize the end of the world and the coming of Christ. There are many more intriguing details about all of the stars, which are part of the constellations on Our Lady's mantle, that direct our attention to Genesis, as well as additional Aztec cryptology concerning the number 13, as we see it with Our Lady of Fatima, all of which I carefully and yet concisely explain in my book, Guadalupe, Secrets of the Image. In a word, these stars direct our attention to the proto-evangelium of Genesis 3:15 and to the great sign of a woman clothed with the sun in Apocalypse 12:1. The image also attests to the Scriptures, which declare that the final judgment of the human race will be accompanied by astronomical events, which include the stars. And so salvation history continues to unfold, as does this message on the miraculous image known as the Virgin of Guadalupe, who instructed the Church, "Call me and my image the perfect Virgin Mary, Holy Mother of God, the one who crushes the serpent." Finally, please allow me to share this reminder that you are invited to join me every other Wednesday for more episodes of Signs and Secrets here on the Fatima Center channel. Until the next time, may God bless you, and may Our Lady Mary keep you and yours under her starry mantle. Salve, Regina.